From the San Antonio Wedding Studios, it's time for Bridal Buzz.
Hey Bridal Babes, welcome to another episode of your favorite wedding podcast, Bridal Buzz. I am your host, Erica, and today we are looking into a wedding story, and we are looking at Kaitlin and Cleto. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
So let's get a little bit about you guys. Who are you guys? Because you mentioned a band, and I happen to know that Kaitlin, you're an amazing singer as well. So talk to us a little bit about who you guys are.
I'm Kaitlin Butts. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm a songwriter and singer, and have been I've been singing since I was little. And we met, and Cleto's a songwriter as well. He's in a band called Flatland Calvary. And they were from Midland, Texas originally, and we met through music.
We're from Lubbock, Texas.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
The band is from
Lubbock. We recorded a song called Life We Work Out, and Kaitlin sang on it, and that's how we met each other in the studio, and then became friends, and then, next thing you know, we're getting married a few years later. So how many?
4.5.
Yeah, 4.5 years later. So that's our story in
a very quick.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into your story. I've read that you two met literally through a song. Cleto, you must have heard the Angels sing or something when you heard Kaitlin on the radio.
So yeah, I was driving through Fort Worth. Our band was playing at Billy Bob's maybe for the first time. And I heard the song on the radio, and I just immediately was like, wow, I've never heard anything like this. It sounds really awesome and fiery and a lot of, energy. And so I Shazammed it, and it was a girl called Kaitlin Butts. And so I was like, well, I'll remember that, I'll check that out later.
Butts is kind of an easy one to remember.
Yeah. I'd heard a lot about her too, like on, through the scene and everything, and just heard that she was awesome, and whenever I heard it on the radio, I was like, yeah, it's really awesome. So we get to a point where our band's making our first album, and my buddy, I played him a song that we were going to record called The Life We Work Out. And he's like, man, that's a really beautiful song, but it's also really sad. He's like, I could hear this as a duet, and it would kind of make it a little bit more melancholy and less just like depressing, and so when he said that, I thought of Kaitlin, and just, it was just kind of a fateful thing, and so we got connected through powers that be, and she sang on the song, and it was totally strictly, we just recorded on the song and then became friends and stuff. And over the course of, months, we ended up, becoming more than friends. And so next thing you know, married. So it's
Kaitlin, were you drawn to him? Because I feel, and maybe I'm just assuming, but Cleto already right off the bat knew he liked your voice, so he was probably a little attracted to you. Were you drawn to him the moment you met him as well, or anything like that?
At first, I just have never dated really any other musicians in the scene, any other singers especially. That's just kind of something I kind of avoided. And initially, that's just not even in my brain, because I show up to do my job and I leave. And then the more I just talked to him and got to know him, I was just like, God, this guy is really cool. And he's just really easy to talk to. And I found myself wanting to talk to him more and more and spend more time with him. And so it was kind of more of a gradual thing. I mean, of course, thought he was cute, but most of the singers of bands are normally pretty cute anyways. So
yeah, and like you said, you try to keep it professional, but it's funny how you always have a plan for yourself, and then the world is the earth, the universe, God is no, we're gonna do it this way.
That I would be getting married to another lead singer, I would not agree with that.
Cleto, you proposed actually close to us, because we're in San Antonio, and you proposed in Helotes, right?
Yes, I did. I had intentions to propose that previous December whenever we went to Ireland, and it just didn't work out. That's its own.
He thought we had gone to Ireland on the red dirt. You tell the whole story.
So yeah, we were going on this trip called the Red Dirt Pub Crawl, and we were playing it, and on a day off, we decided I made friends with another singer-songwriter and band leader from 1100 Springs. His name's Matt Hillier. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, Matt, I don't know anybody here, but I just got this good feeling from you. I trust you, man. I want to propose to Kaitlin. Will you help me? And he's like,
at the cliffs of Moher.
Yeah. I said, I Well, I didn't know where I was going to do it
Yeah.
actually, but he had talked about going on a bus trip to the Cliffs of Moher. And I was like, dude, this is like, it's like everything's lining up. And so we accidentally, or somebody accidentally booked the wrong trip, and we do not go to the Cliffs of Moher, and we go to Northern Ireland. We go on Thrones bus tour, and none of us have ever even seen Game of Thrones. Like, I'm like not going the way I thought. And, so
it was probably the funniest day of my life because of Matt Hillier, but the whole day I had no idea that they were like trying to find a good angle to do it or a good spot to do it. Nothing for the whole day. So then like 6 months pass, and then he proposes it.
Oh.
I was thinking, I didn't really want to publicize like me and Kaitlin get engaged on stage, and then we have just make it really public and stuff. But I was like, I think that was kind of a negative voice in my head. And I was just like, dude, I met her through music. This is my life. It's what I do. So does she, that's what she does. And we're all going to be here on, we played Floors in May.
I was opening up the show, and then like right as I was finished, it was like my birthday weekend, and they had all, whenever I came back from after I'd sliced my finger open, I got a Band-Aid.
Oh my gosh.
Came back in the green room, and everyone was singing happy birthday, and then he did the deed.
Yeah, so we ended up getting, I proposed to her before our show, after her show. Had a couple of cookie cakes that was like, happy birthday, and we all sang to her. And then I had another one that, pretty much was saying like, let's do something crazy. Will you marry me or something? And she said, yeah. And so she saved me from a really awkward situation.
I guess it could have been south if she'd said no, but she said yes.
I feel like after 5 years of dating, there would probably be no reason for me to say no.
Well, I'm glad she said yeah, and it worked out. And ironically, like the song, so we ended up a little sad heartbreak song turned into, me and my significant. So.
Oh. Okay, I want to keep talking about all of this, and this way I want to start actually working into the actual wedding itself. But really, really quick for our listeners, guys, today's episode is brought to you by the Hyatt Regency Hill Country Resort and Spa. Make sure you check them out. They have a ton of venues. They're beautiful, and they're good for any style. So no matter what kind of style you're going for your wedding, there's rustic, there's modern, there's traditional, anything. The Hyatt Regency Hill Country Resort and Spa can accommodate you and your guests. Okay, coming back to you guys, talk to me a little bit about the wedding, because you guys had a very unique style. I think the venue kind of just enhanced that. Tell us what the vibe was of your wedding.
I don't feel like the best part about our wedding was not anything that we brought to it other than the people. I loved the Wander Inn, and out in Round Top, Texas, I fell in love with it a few years ago. First, just loving the Junk Gypsies. There are these women who have had a TV show on HGTV, and they just are known for just being these, hardworking women that upcycle and make, just simple things really beautiful and extravagant. And I went there and knew them. And when we got engaged, Amy from Junk Gypsy messaged me and said, you should get married at the inn. And after I went and visited the Wander Inn and just that whole scenery, I just knew that was pretty much the spot that I wanted to go. And because I didn't want to get married where I would have to like decorate the place. I feel like, the outdoors is kind of God's church. And I just felt like the scenery and the vibe of it was just, the great outdoors and a beautiful tree and just like our friends and just the celebration of it.
Yeah, you really had a very, I don't know exactly what 100% the style was, but it was very boho, very chic, very natural.
Everything that they brought, just added so much. Like the antique chairs that we sat in, everything was from their warehouse pretty much.
Did you guys have a wedding planner or a wedding coordinator?
Yes, we had Jackie Mahon. She's one of our friends from Fort Worth. And at first I was pretty much just going to do it by myself. And then I called her and I was like, this is too much. And I don't know how I'm going to coordinate it the day of. I need your help. And she was like, absolutely. I've actually been wanting to call you and ask you if I can do that. So
we have couples that'll be like, no, I had it. I thought I had it under control. And then like towards the end, like things just start happening, whether you planned it properly or not. Things always come up on the day of.
Yeah. Well, and I felt like I had everything organized that way I could transition it to her. And so the day of, it was more of her just like coordinating things and telling people what to do. And that way I wasn't having to think about anything. So like being organized before and just being able to hand it over to her was like a huge lift off of my shoulders where I could just enjoy the whole day.
You guys got married in October, so it's pretty recent. What did you guys think about the date? Was it a good time?
It was like the most perfect, weather. There was like a full moon too that came out. It was just, couldn't have, and our initial date was supposed to be on
18th.
Yeah, the weekend of the 18th, but because of COVID and stuff, they had their big antique week. They ended up moving the dates
to the 18th, so we had to bump it up 2 weeks.
So yeah, we got a call. We were in Nashville, and we got a call from Amy or somebody at Drunk Gypsy, and they're like, "You need to call all your guests and have them get accommodations like today because they moved, antique week, and it's
or you need to move your wedding date to the 3rd instead."
So we just moved it 3rd, and just took it as like I said, it's kind of sometimes life goes one direction, and you don't want to use your own will to like try to change it. So you just go with the flow and trust it. And it was beautiful weather.
I think it ended up raining in Round Top on the 18th.
Yeah.
And it was weather for our wedding. I could not have imagined a better day for that.
Awesome.
So did you guys have like a intimate ceremony then, if it was going to be, because you guys, had a pandemic wedding, did you guys end up having a smaller crowd than you guys expected, or did you guys have the same guest count that you were going for?
We try to keep it as small as we could. We had 200 guests.
I think it was around 140 to 150 people. For us, like that, I feel like we had to cut a lot of people, or just like not even, just basically because he's got a huge family, I've got a big family, and from then it was just kind of our small circle of friends. And definitely COVID changed, but I really liked how many people I felt like I really saw everyone. And I feel like sometimes I go to weddings and I never even get to like say hi to the bride and groom. I feel like that number was really good for us. What
was each of you, because I think both of you would each have your own favorite moment, but what was your favorite moment of that wedding day?
Obviously getting to see Kaitlin walk down the aisle was pretty cool. You can't do that more than once, I don't think, hopefully. Getting to see her in her wedding dress, and she had like a veil on.
So you hadn't seen her yet? Was that like the first time you saw her?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd seen her, and so it was just anything that you don't think about anything. You're just living totally. I remember that.
Because nowadays there's like this tradition of like, or not tradition. The tradition is waiting till she walks down the aisle, but nowadays people sometimes do it beforehand. So I think it's really cool that you waited for that moment.
Yeah, I feel like that's more exciting to me. It was like cool to watch them see him walk with his parents for the first time and seeing him. I don't know. I feel like that's just like the most special moment of the day.
Was that your favorite moment, Kaitlin?
That was one of them. I just had so many, the whole day, like so many things are just like flashing through my head of just the funniest moments and just like fun times. Dancing to under the tree that we got married. Later on, the videographer was like, hey, he snagged us in the middle of the party while everyone was dancing. And he brought us over to the tree that had been lit up at night, and it was so pretty. And he just like said, hey, y'all dance over here for a minute. I want to film y'all. And I was like, this is like a cool little,
I've definitely had couples say that that's their favorite. They have like this, I guess after the fact, people start leaving the venue or start clearing everything, and someone will put them to the side for a second just to kind of like gather themselves, because it's a big day. All of you are very busy and you're like all over the place, and having those moments for yourselves is really sweet. Do you guys have any advice for other couples who are getting married, I don't know, during a questionable time?
Any advice? I would just say to not lose your cool, and
keep it really simple.
Yeah. Have a faith and hope that, getting married to the right person, and that, nothing can get in the way of that. Not even a pandemic. It ends up being you and your family, and there's, 5 people there. That's still, get married because you want to and because you love somebody. And that, you get married for those reasons, I think, you'll be all right. It's not all the other bells and whistles they're just extra adornments, but just go with your gut and trust it. If it says wait till later than do that too, but just really, I think, if you think too much about stuff, you can get in your own way. So just trust your gut and trust the one you're with.
I think the most important thing for planning it for me was to think about, whenever I go to weddings, what are the things I remember and like what is important to me as a guest, which is to be cool and just happy and have good food and have the alcohol flowing. I mean, just those are the things that I leave and I'm like, that was the coolest part. I don't care about I like getting bogged down in the details of like tying on every little thing for each napkin or like stressing out about things like that, because at the end of the day, it's not about that. People just want to be, joyous, eat, drink, be merry.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, guys. Well, it's basically that's coming to the end of our interview. Is there anything else you guys would like to share?
Yeah, I'm just grateful. I'm glad we finally got to, people say I'm glad I got it over with. I don't feel that way. I'm glad that, it made the day came and it's gone. It's behind us, but we have like just great memories of that day forever. My folks were there. Kaitlin's grandpa, who was, he's got cancer and stuff, and we weren't sure if he was going to make it to come because he was in the hospital like a couple days before. But
2 days before,
he's like, man, I'm not missing this for the world. And he showed up Friday night, and he was there, and it was just like, it was a beautiful weekend, and I'm glad that we got to do it. And
and thankfully, no one got COVID at the end of it.
And you stayed COVID free.
All stayed COVID free. It was very safe.
Do y'all have any new projects coming up?
Yes, both of us do. Go ahead.
Yeah, we last week our band went to Nashville and we recorded our new project, our new album, and we recorded 15 songs over 3 days, and I think it's our best work yet, and I'm excited to give it to people because that's what we've been doing during the pandemic. Is we're not able to play for people, so we've been writing songs, and people have encouraged us and supported us, with us not being able to tour, and so we didn't want that to be for nothing. So we're going to give it back to people in the form of songs and whatever we can do, live streams if we can't play in person. But I'm just so elated is the proper word, because I'm so excited to be able to give back to people because I know that they've been given to us. So
awesome. That's exciting. What about you, Kaitlin?
Yeah, I'll be recording at the same studio actually in February.
Nice.
So he was in Studio A, I'll be in Studio B, and I'll be releasing something very soon, hopefully.
Okay, great. That sounds so cool. If our listeners wanted to connect with you guys, how can they do that?
Facebook, Flatland Calvary, and Kaitlin Butts. We're both on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Pinterest, TikTok. What else? Am I missing anything?
Pretty much anywhere you can
Google our names.
All right, Bridal Buzz listeners, as always, the buzz doesn't have to stop. Follow us, Bridal Buzz, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Bridal Buzz SA. Today's episode was brought to you by the Hyatt Regency Hill Country Resort and Spa, so make sure you check them out. And as we just said, Kaitlin and Cleto, Flatland Calvary, and Kaitlin Butts are also all over the internet, so make sure you check them out as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. Go ahead and wave at the camera. Bye.
Want to be a guest on our show? Just visit sanantonioweddings.com and click on Bridal Buzz. We'd love to hear from you.